Welcome to Ask a VC, where we put VCs in the hot seat. Today we're joined by Jen McCabe of the VegasTechFund. Jen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Leena.
I'm just going to go into your bio a little bit.
Okay.
So Jen, you lead the new hardware arm of the VegasTechFund and previously joined Remotive, a Sequoia-backed personal robotics company, and you also founded Contagion Health, a Y Combinator company. Obviously, you're like knees deep in hardware right now and investing in hardware.
Yeah.
You know, we're just post CES, a few weeks from after CES, and I want to know what's the next thing in hardware. You know, like I feel like we're on wearable overload.
Yeah.
We've learned about drones. There's
Yep,
robots.
that's right.
You know, we've got connected TVs. But like,
Yeah.
what's next?
What's next in hardware? It's the multi-billion-dollar question. I think what we've seen is that there are kind of two diverging paths for hardware as we develop. One, more and more things will become interconnected, and a lot of people call this the Internet of Things, but I'm not sure that's actually the best descriptor. It's just easier for me to think about it as what can I connect my life, in my life using my phone. So I think the phone will continue to become kind of the remote control for your entire life, whether it's unlocking your car, and I think that auto is a sector that's ripe for disruption in hardware, and sound entertainment. I think that's another big sector that just really hasn't been mobile enabled and will be. We'll continue to see a lot of development in drones and robots and those other fun things, but there are simple solutions to everyday living that I think hardware can address, and hardware startups are looking to solve, and there will be many more products in those categories. So we actually just invested in a company called Beep, which does speakers around your home for like Pandora. And the reason I invested in Beep is because my sister is a personal trainer, and her current solution to play music in her class at the community center in Blacksburg, Virginia, is to take her iPad mini and put it in an OtterBox and rig up this wire over a thumbtack in the wall, and then to play something on the iPad. And there's just there's no reason for that. I can't wait to send her a Beep so that she can just use her phone and change the tracks. It's simple solutions like that that I think that hardware will present in the next few years. We'll also see advances in big things like battery technology.
Right.
And I'm excited for those kinds of larger, more systemic changes.
Yeah, I mean, you like one of your investments is also in like a wheelchair company.
Yes.
That's totally like reinventing the wheelchair and making it more connected.
Yeah.
And you know, that's obviously a huge, big problem to tackle, but something that also is life-changing.
Yeah, I mean, Will, the company you mentioned, is a Japanese team, and I met them at 500 Startups demo day. You know, I'm kind of like, oh, that's a cool software thing. Oh, that's a good design. Oh my God, it's an electric wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know, sold. And I used to work in healthcare before robotics, and using a chair is a demoralizing, you know, dehumanizing experience. It's horrible. It makes you feel like less of a person. And what Will is changing through design, through functional innovations, new kinds of tire treads that mean that you can kind of off-road, is absolutely incredible. So when I'm thinking of investing, I want to be focusing on companies like that actually build something that changes someone's way of interacting with the world.
So I want to, you know, move on to maybe a more heavier topic than what we were just talking about. You know, there have definitely been some women VCs on the show, but really not that many. And that's a reflection, I think, of just the fact that there's not that many women in the VC world. You know, why do you think that is? And I think the bigger question for me is, why are the women VCs who are at some of these, you know, larger institutional firms leaving and going to start their own things? And is there sort of a systematic issue there where you know, is there something that's connecting the dots there?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. One, it's a privilege to sit here. You know, we're two women discussing our careers, you know, before we go on camera, and I think we've probably had a lot of similar experiences as a result of that. Both what it's been easy to do professionally and what it's been hard to do professionally. That's one of the benefits of being in a workplace where you work with other women. You get to talk about where the challenges are and how you can kind of help surmount them. And what's interesting to me is in all the teams I've worked with in technology, whether it's in startups or in investing, they're predominantly male. However, the Nimbus team, it's 3 women. That wasn't done purposefully. It was just done because I met 2 awesome women, Ali and Shilpi, and now Trish, who just joined our team, and they fit perfectly. Are they the most traditional in terms of their resumes and backgrounds? No, but that's also, that's kind of a cultural value in what we're looking for. And I think that the reason that women, or at least one of the reasons that I think women are leaving traditional firms, is because they are traditional. And the choices that we have to make about work and about life are non-traditional. And so if you're within a constraint where your path is set and it's potentially limited by being a woman and having to make some of the choices that we have to make over time, then you have to come up with an alternative plan. Like right. The career track for a male partner VC, I don't think is the career track for a female partner VC. It's certainly, it's you know, it's not the ideal career path for me. And that's because of just constraints that we have in our decision making. So I just turned 34. Most of my friends that are in startups that are women are between the ages of, like 25 and like 40. And we start to think about our options differently as we get into our second or third startup, or we become an associate at a firm. We don't have an unlimited amount of time if we want to have it all. And I think that that means we are looking for work and life solutions that are more flexible than traditional firms offer. To me, it's a little sad, because there are wonderful traditional firms. Will I have the work-life balance that I really want if I get to do that? No. And me, for work-life balance, is not ever going to be working less than 80-hour weeks, on the go all the time. But at some point in my life, I would like a family life and a career.
And it's very difficult to have the 80-hour weeks and traveling.
That's right.
Doing all of that.
That's right.
And certainly, I think there's women like Sheryl Sandberg who are saying, lean into it, and you have a support system, you have a husband or a partner who can help you.
Okay, so let's get real here. We are an incredibly privileged class, just by virtue of the fact that we're sitting here, talking to a TechCrunch audience. We're in startups and technology. We're already talking about problems that most people just don't even get to entertain these choices. And I feel lucky every day I wake up and get to go to work and do something that is completely out of reach for most of the women that I know. And I take that privilege and responsibility very seriously. Like it has factored into my decision making that I look at the people I grew up with and the people that I love and realize that they will never have this chance. And that's tragic. How can more women have this kind of chance? I am not an engineer. I don't have a computer science background. That didn't limit me from getting into Y Combinator. It didn't limit me from working on robotics. It didn't limit me from working in manufacturing, and it doesn't limit me from investing. I think that sometimes our own perception of our limitations as women in this sector blocks us from doing what we really want to do. And I think that that's unfortunate. We just need to talk more honestly about.
And it goes back to what you said, which is like the career path of a male VC, where now you have to have that operating experience, you have to have some sort of technical background, is different from the career path or what the career has looked like in the past for a female VC. So perhaps if we expanded our views, or the ecosystem expanded their views, there would be more women in VC instead of constraining them to what the male VC should look like.
That's right. And to be honest, I would love I'm going to get myself into trouble. I would love to find a house husband who wants to do nothing but take care of my kids and rock climb. But honestly,
I've tried it.
Do you know where to find these guys? I have no idea. But if I find them, I'll let you know. No, in all honesty, knowing what you want as a woman in this career track is important, and talking to your partner openly about that, making those decisions together has to happen. And I think as a female team, you have to talk about those decisions, because when one of you makes the choice to have a family, it impacts the rest of the team. So weirdly enough, it becomes this like, in a mixed or male VC firm, how are you going to have those conversations honestly about when you can stop traveling? I have a friend who just had a baby, and she was talking about going to China and being on the cusp of, can I make this trip to China to go to the hardware market in Shenzhen or not? Will it be too close to my due date? And you guys just don't have that problem.
No, they don't. Or the other side of it is kind of the way that you think when you have children, and you feel guilty about leaving them. A lot of men don't necessarily feel that way.
We're going to get in so much trouble for this one.
I know, my husband's going to kill me. But you know, I don't think he feels as guilty about leaving as I do. Like, I actually really wear it, you know, on my sleeve, and it feels a lot worse. But
the guilt factor is really interesting, though, that you mentioned that. It's something that I deal with a lot, actually, and I think, again, a lot of the female friends that I have in the industry deal with it. We feel guilty for wanting all of these things. You know, we feel guilty for wanting to have the same position as the male VC, but wanting a different path. Stop feeling guilty. Realize that that's what you want and go after it, and realize that the path to get there is not necessarily traditional. So the great examples that I see in hardware, it's kind of a meritocracy. You know, if you're working in hardware and you can work on operations, it doesn't matter where you went to school. It doesn't matter what your degree is in. Operations is one of the biggest needs that hardware companies have, and interestingly enough, many of the startups I know are filling them with female employees who came from other sectors.
That's great.
And so you can rise through the ranks in a hardware company really, really quickly by going into ops.
Well, Jen, I have to tell you, this is probably the most real conversation that I've had in all of our Ask a BCs that I've been doing for the past year and a half. So I really, really appreciate you.
Get ready for the comment section on this one.
And just saying what you feel, and I hope our readers enjoy it. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.